This is VOA News. I'm Joe Ramsey. Trucks carrying badly needed aid for the Gaza Strip have rolled across a newly built U.S. pier and into the besieged enclave for the first time. Friday's shipment is the first in an operation American military officials anticipate could scale up to 150 truckloads a day. It comes as Israeli restrictions on border crossings and heavy fighting hindered the delivery of food and other supplies 7 months into the Israel-Gaza war. The Republican-led U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill that would force President Joe Biden to send weapons to Israel on Thursday. Reuters correspondent Ryan Chung has details.
The move is seen as a rebuke to Biden for delaying bomb shipments, as he urges Israel to do more to protect civilians during its war with Hamas. The House approved the Israel Security Assistance Support Act largely along party lines. Some 16 Democrats joined most Republicans voting yes. Republicans accused Biden of turning his back on Israel after facing widespread pro-Palestinian protests. The act is not expected to become law, but its passage underscored the deep U.S. election year divide over Israel policy.
Reuters correspondent Ryan Chung. Hamas is a U.S. designated terrorist group. The International Red Cross has set up a field hospital in southern Gaza to try to meet what it described as overwhelming demand for health services since Israel's military operation on Rafah began last week.
To the current situation of the Gaza Strip, we believe that this field hospital will contribute to the general healthcare delivery service in the Gaza Strip now that the majority of the health facilities are now functional.
This is VOA News. Ukraine attacked a power substation in Russian-occupied Crimea and an oil depot and railway station in a Russian Black Sea port town overnight, a Kyiv intelligence source told Reuters. Kyiv has stepped up strikes on energy facilities deep inside Russian territory, which they say are legitimate military targets supporting Moscow's 27-month-old war in Ukraine. Attacks have led to disruptions in refining capacity. Friday's strikes were a joint operation conducted by the Security Service of Ukraine and its military intelligence agency, the source added. The suspect in the shooting of Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico was escorted to his home by police on Friday. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma explains.
Slovak media reported on Friday it was part of a search for evidence. Fico, who is 59, was shot multiple times on Wednesday as he was greeting supporters after a government meeting. Officials at first reported doctors were fighting for his life, but after a 5-hour operation described his situation as serious but stable. Markiza, a Slovak television broadcaster, has shown footage of the suspect being taken to his home in the town of Levice and said police had seized a computer and some documents. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
French police shot dead an armed man who set fire to a synagogue in the northwestern city of Rouen early on Friday. Reuters correspondent Rachel Graham has more.
French police shot dead an armed man who set fire to a synagogue in the northwestern city of Rouen early on Friday. Officers opened fire when the assailant threw an iron bar at them and threatened them with a knife as he left the building. The synagogue had smoke billowing from it, Rouen city officials said. The fire has since been brought under control. The synagogue's rabbi, Shmuel Becky, said he was left in great shock after the attempted arson attack, adding that his wife was present at the time. The synagogue suffered extensive damage, including to its furniture, but no one was harmed, said the city's mayor.
Reuters correspondent Rachel Graham. North Korea has fired suspected short-range ballistic missiles off its east coast a day after South Korea and the U.S. flew powerful fighter jets in a drill that the North view as a major security threat. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff says the launches were made from the northeast coast on Friday afternoon. Japan's chief cabinet secretary said a North Korean missile landed outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff statement called the launches a clear provocation that threatens peace on the Korean Peninsula. Find more online at voanews.com. I'm Joe Ramsey, VOA News.